This identification is confirmed when a question is given about the relationship between Michael, the Lord of the Way, and Christ the Way. The response includes the statement, as transcribed, quote, Michael is the Lord of the guard of the change that comes in every soul that seeks the way, even as in those periods when his manifestations came in the earth, end quote. A 20th century Englishman who comprehensively documented his healing work and became known throughout the world was Harry Edwards, who wrote many books on the subject. One of these, The Evidence for Spirit Healing, presents 10,369 citations of supernormal healings covering a period of 4 years to present extensive documentation of spiritual healing facilitated by Edwards and his helpers. Integral to what he described as spirit healing, Edwards found it evidential that, quote, man possesses a spirit counterpart of himself, which is termed the spirit body. If this were not so, there would be no clairvoyance, physical phenomena, healing, the sixth sense, inspirational, premonition, etc., end quote. He also wrote, quote, when we see, we do not see with the eye. This is only the transmitting organ to the brain, in which interprets the experience received upon our state of consciousness. Neither do we hear with the ear, which again is the transmitting organ via the brain to the consciousness. As a result of the light reactions and sound waves received by the eye and ear, the brain enables that recording part of us, our consciousness, to receive and retain a picture of the sight or sound. When a clairvoyant sees, his consciousness receives a picture just as clear and precise as with physical vision, although it has not been received by the physical eye, since the subject is invisible to normal sight. Similarly, when a clairaudient hears, his consciousness presents him with an experience identical to his actually hearing physical sound, end quote. In the 1968 book, Harry Edwards, 30 Years a Spiritual Healer, Edwards commented about healers, quote, they are but the attuned channels of spirit used as transmitters of particularized healing forces to effect beneficial changes in given ill conditions. Spiritual healing is not the prerogative of any man or any church, and neither is it a cure-all, for even as there are laws which govern the universe itself, so spiritual healing is governed by certain laws, end quote. Perhaps among the most compelling autobiographies of paranormal people are those by men and women who achieved renown as psychics and mediums. Individually and collectively, these authors offer a profound message for humanity. Eileen Garrett was a medium who would go into a trance, and other personalities would speak through her without her having any memory of what they said. In her first memoir, published in 1939, My Life as a Search for the Meaning of Mediumship, she observed, quote, all my supernormal experiences convinced me that the past, present, and future are but aspects of one continuous process in the universe. In such an evolution, birth and death fall into place as necessary phases of an eternally changing cycle which strives towards the perfection of man's soul. One life is for a human being a single fragment of his total experience, and through such existence, man is bound by memory and sensation to all living forms which have been and shall be. For me, therefore, the state of death is no more than a breathing spell in which the soul, which has passed out of this life, may take time to extract the essence of that experience before it enters into another phase of being, end quote. A direct voice medium whose work resulted with evidentiary audio recordings of his remarkable sittings was Leslie Flint. Flint said, quote, the voices of the dead speak directly to their friends or relatives and are located in space a little above my head and slightly to one side of me, end quote. Many direct voice recordings made in the presence of Flint may currently be heard without charge at the website www.leslieflint.com. An impressive photo at the website is captioned, "An infrared photo of Leslie Flint showing ectoplasm emanating from his neck, which is used to build the voice box." This amazing ectoplasmic larynx allowed people from the ascended realm of existence to communicate with us, and in this case, have their discourses preserved by tape recorder. While most of the recordings are from people who never achieved great recognition during their earth lives, there are some voices identified as belonging to once famous men and women whose communication from the other side may be heard at this website, including Frederick Chopin, Marie Curie, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Herbert Hoover, Thomas Jefferson, and Rudolph Valentino. We are able to consider many incidents involving the Valentino sittings due to the 1965 book, The Voice of Valentino, through Leslie Flint by Lynn Russell. Russell's information is corroborated by Flint's 1971 autobiography, Voices in the Dark, My Life as a Medium. These thoughts about Leslie Flint and other paranormal people, as I refer to them, will give you some indication of the scope of my new book, Holly Weird. To conclude this brief lecture, I'll offer one more comment about superconsciousness. The truth can be stated in simple or complex ways and isn't altogether comprehensible. Now the word oneness, for me, evokes our condition of experiencing God through encountering on a daily basis a multitudinous assortment of aspects in all living things around us. Where our lessons of atonement or achieving at one-ment with God are concerned, if one is committed to learning and to showing love to God, one's actions will manifest this awareness in the interaction with all life forms. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Testament.org website, I invite you to read about my research and experiences. Most of what is chronicled happened during the first few years following my revelatory experience that started in Oklahoma. My email address is markrussellbell@earthlink.net.